and welcome to day 51 of our 52 days through Nehemiah. I'm Christy Birchfield. Today we are looking at Nehemiah chapter 13, and we're looking at verses 15 through 22. And it says, "At that time I saw people in Judah treading wine presses on the Sabbath. They were also bringing in stores of grain and loading them on donkeys, along with wine, grapes, and figs. All kinds of goods were being brought to Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, so I warned them against selling food on that day. The Tyrians living there were importing fish and all kinds of merchandise and selling them on the Sabbath to the people of Judah in Jerusalem. I rebuked the nobles of Judah and said to them, 'What is this evil you are doing, profaning the Sabbath day? Didn't your ancestors do the same, so that our God brought all this disaster on us and on the city? And now you are rekindling his anger against Israel by profaning the Sabbath.' When shadows began to fall on the gates of Jerusalem just before the Sabbath, I gave orders that the gates be closed and not opened until after the Sabbath. I posted some of my men at the gate so that no goods could enter during the Sabbath day. Once or twice, the merchants and those who sell all kinds of goods camped outside Jerusalem, but I warned them, 'Why are you camping in front of the wall? If you do it again, I'll use force against you.' And after that, they did not come again on the Sabbath. Then I instructed the Levites to purify themselves and guard the gates in order to keep the Sabbath day holy. Remember me for this also, my God, and look on me with compassion in keeping with your abundant, faithful love." Today we're going to just talk about standards. It's kind of interesting. If you've seen the last couple of days, Nehemiah had left. He's come back, and now he's seeing kind of the state of things while he's been gone. And he's definitely disappointed in some areas. We saw that there have been some things that had happened, some accountability that needed to take place, and now we have some very specific standards. The Jews were instructed to keep the Sabbath holy. That was part of the law, that was part of the commands that they had been given, and yet here they were doing business and trade and commerce and all of that on the Sabbath day. So Nehemiah said, no, you can't do that. We're not going to do that. That's not the right thing to do. But then the people kept kind of trying to do it anyway. Or the other people that they'd been trading with, they kept coming. So he put guards up and said, no, I meant it. When I said, no, we're not doing that, I meant no. Think about it in our own lives. Think back when we started studying Nehemiah, all the things that we've learned as we've been obedient to God and to doing what God has for us so that we can make a difference and see God's work in our lives. And God has commands that he's giving us that we can demonstrate our love for him through our obedience to these commands. But yet, sometimes we're not very good at that. And sometimes we need to make sure that we are really, truly following through on these standards that God has. So what do we need to do in order to be able to consistently follow these standards? We may need to set up some guards around our life. All those things that tempt us, all those things that come into our life and say, hey, come on. Come over here. Let's go do this. We don't need to worry about that. That'll be fine. Come on over here. All those temptations, the things that come up, we need to make sure that we are setting up our standards around that to be able to know in advance before the temptation comes what our answer is going to be, and set guards up around it too so that our standards don't get broken down. Where are you at in your life? What standards do you need to set up in your life today as you're looking through all the different things that God is asking you to do and all the different temptations that the enemy is trying to lay in front of you? What guards do you need to set up to help you consistently keep those standards? That's the question. Tomorrow we'll be looking at our final day of Nehemiah. So look forward to seeing you then. Thanks.